Got several questions, Mr. Rohr, and got another set of them. We'll try to get it in, and then Senator Kane will be up. I know what it means in Indiana in terms of that idea of aspiring to go to college. I remember, too, that there were cases where I think we were pushing kids only into that direction at the expense of pre-COVID. I think we had 65,000 jobs in Indiana that need apprenticeships, some form of better education in high school towards basic skills. How have you seen in the past few years, are we getting elementary education involved at all in the middle school and especially in high school to where these options are there for our parents and kids to look at? Has the dynamic changed?
Thank you for that question, Senator Braun. The dynamic has continued to change. It's pivoting with each region as we continue to expand the opportunities for youth in Indiana. We're really making a concerted effort by changing legislation, grad pathways. I think you're very familiar with the fact that now Indiana requires each graduating high school senior to have a work-based learning experience before graduation. That took place in effective of 2023 in that cohort. That really, to me, underscores how serious we are taking those skills. And I think that is also the leading that through education is the importance of that, and how we continue to identify those opportunities for those students and show those skills that are needed. We talk a lot about, people showing up on time and people really becoming team players, and a lot of that comes from experience. And Indiana, I think, is really taking that seriously with our educators and our parents.
That's good. And then what about on the industry end? I think they've always wanted our school systems to kind of produce that perfect mix of future employees, and I think they probably have become more engaged as well. Are you seeing that?
Absolutely. Industry is definitely coming to the table through partnerships with CICP and Ascend Indiana and others, and to the state. They're coming to regions and really trying to show how they're leaning into education. A lot of everything we talked about today underscores the importance of this being an employer-led initiative. Youth apprenticeships only as strong as the employers develop in the competencies and curriculums. So I think employers are really taking this to heart and looking at this as a viable pipeline for Indiana.
And then what about, because ours is really a rural state, we probably got 50, 55 counties that have got agriculture and manufacturing a part of it. Are we seeing this in the rural communities and counties as well?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things that we're talking through, and how to scale, because you have transportation issues, you have career counseling issues, but 62 of our 92 counties are nearly 20% manufacturing intensity. So we have to get rural to get this scaled at the proper, and we have more and more regions. As I alluded to earlier, we have 5 more partnerships that are growing by 2025, with more in the pipeline for development. So it is scaling.
And then the difference between an industry-recognized apprenticeship and registered apprenticeships, is that starting to diminish, or is there still a distinction made that would be relevant to employers?
Yeah, it's starting to diminish. I mean, they're both equally important. As mentioned earlier, in California, a statement about unions are incredibly important and still prominent in Indiana, but there's also several non-union, so those industry-recognized credentials, automotive space particularly for me and others, it's incredibly important, and they have to work together, and they will, and they continue to in Indiana.
Very good. I want to start with Mr. Day, Mr. Patchen, and Ms. Tugati on that issue of stigmatizing pathways through career and technical education versus 2-year or 4-year pathways. Give me your take on that, and then we'll move down the line.
That is definitely the heavy lift right there, sir. We've had so many years, decades in fact, of pushing all students, as you mentioned earlier, toward college. And we are now destigmatizing the work of career preparation. And I think we've done that in a number of different ways. Some is reimagining how a career center like the CCIC can appear to students. We do a fair amount of our work is marketing the opportunities we have for our students. Like, we bring every 8th grader through in our entire district. We bring them all through our campus. So they get to see what we have available to us, and we have students who are currently in our program speak on the behalf of the program, which is a fantastic way, again, to remove that stigma in terms of where those students can see themselves in a career and how they get there very drastically differently from the college-only path. That has made a tremendous difference for us.
Thank you. And Mr. Patch might comment on the pay differences, if there are any, and whether you can get into a career with nearly the same amount of pay and no debt from further education.
By coming into industry, is that?
Yes.
Yes, for sure. Our career paths that we give in our industry itself, between leadership, engineering, quality, you can get into making a good wage, learn where you want to go, and then we'll pay for your school.
Thank you. Mr. Gowdy.
In response to the
Just in your view, in terms of four-year degree versus apprenticeship, CTE, and getting directly into the workforce.
Absolutely. One of the most successful programs we've had at SEIU United Healthcare Workers has been our Futuro Health recruitment program. And so that was primarily focused at recruiting the family and friends of our incumbent workers. And so they were people who already knew they already knew what the healthcare field looked like. They already knew the difficulties, but they also knew what it could do for them. They knew how life-changing that work could be. And so, that was actually one of the best programs that we've had, and has been actually so successful that we've run out of spots so far. And so really, again, relying on those networks that are already built.
Thank you. Senator Kane.